This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com. I'm excited to talk about it. It's Hunter Hearst Helmsley's 1995 and 1996. And of course, we're talking about him because just a couple of days ago, as you and I are dropping this episode, Mr. Levesque turned 52 years old. So 95 really begins for Triple H, as we know him these days, in WCW. At the time, he's working under the name Jean-Paul Levesque. And the story was always that Eric Bischoff offered him a 2-year deal. And I think Paul just wanted a 1-year deal because his goal was to wind up in the World Wrestling Federation. He grew up in the Northeast, of course, and he was trained by Killer Kowalski. So it probably makes sense that his goal was to wind up with the WWF, right?
Oh yeah. It was never a doubt. You know, he grew up in New Hampshire in really the heart of WWE territory. And then Kowalski had this great ties, roots back into the company. So that was not a surprise, him wanting to come to WWE. But, you know, come on. A lot of guys want to come to WWE in that era and still do. So, but I first saw him, I think, in WCW. I always thought he was a little bit ahead of his game as far as fundamental soundness and his skill set was concerned. He was trained very well, and he was a true student of the game, and that helped him progress at a much more rapid rate than a lot of guys. And plus, the other thing about it, he didn't have an ex-wife. He didn't have an ongoing wife. He didn't do drugs. He didn't even drink. So consequently, he was kind of high on your list of guys to keep an eye on because he didn't bring with him any bad habits. So he was just, you could tell that he was going to be a lifer. Now, to what level he was going to get and attain and achieve remained to be seen, but you could tell he had special traits and no bad habits that would prevent him from growing.
Did you see any of his WCW stuff? Were you watching their program at all?
Yeah. I saw quite a bit of his work. I was watching a lot of their product in those days. But I always thought he was someone to keep an eye on. And, you know, he's 6'4", that boded well for him.
Yeah.
He's smart. And again, I can't use that term student of the game enough, because if anybody that we could talk about on our show here was a true student of the game, and there were others, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But he would be right at the top of my list. I can't think of anyone that would trump him with having that descriptor, student of the game. And I think, you know, all those nicknames came from those type deals. You know, I called him, he's the best in the game, or then he became the game. I gave the nickname Cerebral Assassin, and that stuck. So he was a special talent. You knew he was going to go far, but not determined how far. But it was pretty much said and understood WWE was going to be his eventual destination.
I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. You really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, so what are you waiting for? Hurry to SaveWithConrad.com. On TV, after he leaves WCW, Eric Bischoff, easy for me to say, is going to start knocking him on the programming, talking about how he thought he was going to be a big deal, but he's just another guy who couldn't cut the mustard like Max Payne. I bet stuff like that, knowing your previous experience with Eric Bischoff, really struck a chord with you, because in that era, Eric was not exactly getting Christmas cards from you either, huh?
Oh, no, he wasn't. But, you know, we didn't get along. We didn't agree with a lot of things philosophically.
Right.
You know, no, he took me off the air, so it essentially was killing my career. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
You're a fucking broadcaster and you're not on the air anymore. It's not, you know, we ain't got to be Dr. Phil here to figure out the fact where your end date just came apparent. and I wasn't ready to read my end date. So, but you know, Eric had a decisions to make, and he did it for what he felt was the best for his company, and it worked for a while. It worked really well for a while. Hence the name of this podcast, 83 Weeks. So, but you know, no, we didn't agree. And you get the wrestling egos. I had the big ego, and Eric's got a big ego, and we have bigger egos when we were younger. So yeah, you get past, you just got to move past it. You know, I've often said, you know, him taking me off the air and getting me all pissed off, they violated their own contract. Which was funny because they wrote the contract and they violated it. Didn't know all the little terms in there. So, I mean, I was specifically earmarked to do certain jobs there at WCW. So when they reassigned me, they violated their own deal. They weren't contractually able to do that without my approval, shall we say. But I wasn't going to approve that deal. So I had about 2.5, 3 years left of a contract, making pretty good money. Right. I could have set out and drawn money and got paid. And that was not my style either. You know, I didn't want to be out of the game. So that was my calling card, I thought at the time, was to be a broadcaster on that level. So yeah, I didn't ever understand, I guess, just to stir the pot, create some controversy. I know Eric's book, Controversy Creates Cash, aptly named. But it seemed to be personal at times, but probably wasn't. But in any event, that when he reassigned me, at the end of the day, it was the best move I ever had made for me or made with me or whatever for my career. Absolutely the best thing. So it worked out good at the end of the day. And now all that stuff comes around, and Eric and I are friends. We're teammates on your network. And I have no ill will, no malice of forethought regarding him whatsoever. He had to do his job. It didn't suit me, but so what? And that's why when he came to WWE, I wanted to make sure I treated him as good or better than the other talents, because I didn't want that coming back and biting me in the ass. Ole JR's always had a grudge. He's making Bischoff's life miserable, all those things. And none of those things happened. I'm sure Eric would agree with that. I treated him as a professional, politely, friendly. We still weren't exchanging Christmas cards, but we were respectful and professional dealing with each other.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.